Yo, 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 what's good? Thank y'all for choosing to listen to the Triple Ace Podcast. This is the Triple Ace Podcast, the realest podcast out there. Thank y'all for tuning in to the Triple Ace Podcast. Yo, so I don't know what's going on with people these days, man. They done shot Rihanna's house up there in Beverly Hills. It's a female in her 30s. Shot 10 rounds in the mansion. Rihanna was home. I don't know about A$AP Rocky. They didn't mention nothing about the kids, but I'm glad that Rihanna's all right. But the suspect is in custody. Like I said, it's a 30-year-old woman. I don't know if she white or black, but this shit gotta stop. You just shot that lady house up for what? And now you finna do time in jail. So let's listen to the report.
We've got some breaking news at the Beverly Glen home of pop star Rihanna. The LAPD has arrested a 30-year-old woman suspected of firing multiple shots towards the mansion. The gunfire was reported around 1:15 this afternoon. ABC News says sources say Rihanna was home at the time, but no one was injured. Rounds apparently hit the outside of the home and a vehicle parked in front of it. Officers say they did recover a weapon. So far, no motive is clear. Investigators are still looking into whether this was a targeted or random attack.
So, A$AP Rocky, man, you know, you gotta tell your bitches, bro, like, you gotta cut them off, man. You with Rihanna now, you know what I mean? The baddest bitch on the planet. Like, all your little groupie hoes, man, you gotta cut them loose. I get it, man. You know, you fuck so many bitches around there. You know what I mean? And one of them didn't get it. You know what I mean? You with Rihanna now? Hey, all the side bitches, you know what I mean? You gotta cut them off, bro. You know what I mean? You can't have bitches shooting up your baby mama crib. And then your wife crib is that, you know what I mean? So, yeah, man, this is a stupid hoe that did it. You know, now you finna do time in jail, 30 years old. And she wished she was Rihanna in that mansion. You know what I mean? Getting best treatment and shit like that. That's what's wrong with these hoes. All right, switching up the topics. All right, so Papoose came out dissing 50 Cent on his record. I mean, on his own beat, you know, on that Mini Man beat. So, I don't know what it is, man. A lot of people going out 50 Cent. I know 50 came out Papoose a while back. I guess this is time to get back at 50 by jumping on his own record and dissing him. So I'm gonna let y'all hear that right quick.
Yo. Fuck Curtis Jack, that's what came to mind soon as I heard the track. Ball spitting lyrical, condescending to murder rap. Heard they shot his ass with a Nina, he deserved a Mac. About to turn the heat up, I got my hand on a thermostat. Ugly ass G-Unit sneakers, had the shirt to match, cause after Get Rich or Die Trying, your every verse was whack. Mad cause Diddy hit your chick, you a jerk for that. Diddy clap them cheeks so loud, the neighbors heard the slap. That's why you made that documentary, you was hurt from that. I heard she fucked all 5 guys and they bring a burger back. Spoke to some conspiracy theorists, they said the earth is flat. They also said you work for Illuminati. Nervous rat, what would make this chump think that he could spit a verse with Pap? Somebody better pray for this nigga. Where the church is at, if it wasn't for M, you'll be looking for a purse to snatch. Bought your girl a wig, then you told her to return it back. 50 you.
God damn. So 50 did respond, you know. He said he don't respond to rappers that can't make a hit. So that's true, you know, Papoose talent, you know what I mean, but he can't make a fucking hit to save his life. But I do like the diss record though. I do like the bars. So 50, come on man, make some music, man. Let's get back on these jokers, man. They devil team you and shit. All right, I'm switching up the topic. All right, this happened in Middletown, Ohio. A police officer let a stepfather whoop his children while they was handcuffed. So let's get into the story.
Accused of dereliction of duty. Yeah, Brittany Harry is live in studio to explain what this means.
Well, so according to court documents, the officers accused as of a law enforcement officer negligently failing to, quote, prevent or halt the commission of an offense or to apprehend an offender. According to the Butler County Prosecutor's Office, Middletown police officer Jamie Patterson was called to a home on Greenwood Court for a domestic incident that was on January 3rd. This is video we have of Officer Patterson from a story that we did with her in 2021. But according to the prosecutor's office, the incident involved a teen who was not cooperating with their mother. The prosecutor's office says Officer Patterson handcuffed the teen, who was then in police custody. While handcuffed, the prosecutor's office says Officer Patterson watched as a male figure in the home whipped the teen. While they were handcuffed, the teen was transported to the hospital after being hit with a belt on the buccal side. So according to the prosecutor's office, the teen had visible marks. This incident.
Yo, so I'm gonna say this. I think it's time to let parents start whooping their kids again. Cause these kids getting out of hand. They stealing, they doing drugs, they doing all types of stuff. So I think they should allow parents to whoop their kids to a certain extent. So somebody need to vote for that to happen again. The officer should not be punished from letting the father whoop his kids, you know what I mean? To me, I think she did the right thing. Maybe no kids will learn from that. So kids always learn when they get their ass whooped. Maybe they'll be scared next time to do it because they go always think about that ass whooping. You know what I mean? So y'all let me know what y'all think about that. All right, so switching up the topic, Britney Spears was arrested in California for DUI. So let's get into the story.
Britney Spears arrested in California for allegedly driving under the influence. The pop star taken into custody after officers say she was swerving in and out of lanes in her BMW.
Black sedan, erratic braking, swerving, and driving with no taillight. The black BMW sedan in and out of lanes near TC is now speeding.
TMZ reporting that the singer was crying as she was processed at the sheriff's office. Fox News contributor and host of Crime and Justice podcast and the weekly rap sheet on Fox Nation, Donna Rotuno, joins me now. Donna, her team admits this happened, so there really is no issue of fact going on right now. Could she face jail time?
Good morning, Todd. I don't think Britney's going to face jail time. I think the fact that she's clearly in a state of mental decline. I mean, Britney Spears has had a history of run-ins with the law, with very odd Instagram and social media posting. She obviously had all the issues with her conservatorship. This is not the first time Britney has made a bad decision, and I think we're looking at somebody with issues with substance abuse. I don't think, given this, she will face any jail time. I think she will probably get some treatment, hopefully some mental health treatment, and take this downward spiral in the opposite direction.
Yeah, so, I mean, somebody need to help her out. This goes to show her dad was right all along. I think her dad needs to get back in her life. The courts need to turn everything back over to the father. And the father was telling everybody she got a mental problem and she need help. She got problems. I know all her fans love her. They don't want to see nothing bad happen to her. So she needs help real bad because she got a very bad problem that's going on. So that's what's going on with Britney Spears. All right, switching up the topic. So America is going to war. So the gas prices are already hitting consumers. And I did DoorDash and Uber Eats for like 5 years, on and off type of stuff. So thank God I'm back in trucking. You know what I mean? I ain't doing DoorDash right now or Uber Eats, but the gas price is hot. You know what I mean? They saying that it's gonna be even more higher. So when you go to war, they always raise up the gas. The gas is the first one to get raised up. So it's getting to a point where the gas affecting small business or transportation. So it is getting bad out here. You know, United States going to war with the Middle East and all that. So I was y'all, if you don't have to go nowhere, don't go nowhere. If you do have to go somewhere, just go to that place and back home, you know what I mean? But it's gonna get hard. I feel for my Uber Eats drivers, cause they gotta pay a lot of money to fill that tank up, you know what I mean? And I seen these prices, and it's ridiculous. So y'all try to do y'all best y'all can, trying to stick it out. Like I said, I'm a truck driver. Even the diesel fuel going up. So you got the gas fuel going up, and then you got the diesel fuel going up. So it's getting tough out here. So if you ain't got to go nowhere, keep that car, or especially that truck, or especially if you got a Charger with a V8 in it, you ain't going nowhere, buddy. Sorry. You ain't going nowhere. All right, switching up the topic. All right, so what happened to the streets? You know what I mean? I know back in the days, you had your drug dealers that used to be on the corner. It used to be a bunch of niggas on the corner. You know what I mean? Every car pulled up, they running. You know, the boy used to chase that dollar at the liquor store, corner store, you know, store, whatever. You know, they used to chase that money. You had the crackheads, well, you still do got crackheads. Then, you know, you got the prostitutes, you know what I mean? So what happened to the streets, man? The streets is like fucked up now. I know it used to be like everybody wanted to be a drug dealer, because they used to watch the movie Scarface. You know, they think they Tony Montana, you know what I mean? So you had that bunch. And then it switched over to what? Rappers or basketball players, one of the two. So you had to be either a ball player or a rapper or a drug dealer back then. But now everything changed. So guess what? Everybody being a streamer now. They saying streamers make more money than rappers. You know what I mean? That's what DDG said, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. Like, your role models is gone, man. Either they all dead. Now you got people snitching. You know, back then they was afraid to snitch, you know what I mean? They get their head chopped off. Now, they doing it for a Big Mac. They doing it for a Whataburger. You know, anything just to get out. So what happened to the streets, man? Was it the new technology? Yeah, so was it the new technology that made things flip? Or all these niggas are dead? You know what I mean? So this shit crazy, man, how it changed from the streets now to the internet. So everybody think they tough on the internet. They can say shit, you know what I mean? They think they won't get touched. They think they won't get caught. They make fake accounts, you know what I mean? But my thing was, if the technology changes, you know what I mean, the street mentality should have been changed too. So you ask me, it should have been better. You know what I mean? The way how you can sneak drugs and stuff like that, but they still doing it the old way. You know, you would think that shit would change, right? Way how they sneak drugs in. Well, the prostitutes, they already done switched their shit up, you know what I mean? They got an app now. So they ain't on the corner no more slinging that pussy. You know what I mean? You gotta go to Backpage or something like that. But as far as the drugs go, I don't know how they making it, man. I don't think they make money off drugs anymore. I think that shit is done. You know what I mean? The street code is done. You know, all that shit is done. So if you is still doing that shit, you know, best to get out, man. So the streets is dead. I think the internet messed up the streets, technology, you know, everything got to change. But I was born in '85, so, you know, I was born in a crack area, so they would call us crack babies, you know what I mean? So the projects and all that, that's where I lived at, you know, shit like that. So I think what happened to the streets is still there, but everything is different now. So you have to have a new strategy on how to be a dope boy, a new strategy on everything. But you have to get it offline. You have to go straight to the internet. So you can't get it off the streets no more. You gotta go straight to the internet, you know what I mean? And you have to evolve with the process. So that's my opinion on what happened to the streets. And for the snitching go, I think somebody need to write a new code book, because the street code is probably on its way out the door, you know what I mean? So that last generation, like the 60s and the 70s and all that, the 80s, you know what I mean? I think that the G code around that time was full in effect, and then as the years go on, the shit fade out. You know, I don't think it matters no more. You know what I mean? With the G code, but some people still getting dealt with. Depends on what state you in. You still get your ass killed though. But hey, who am I? This is my opinion on what I think that happened to the streets. I think the internet tuck it over. All the dope boys dead. There's no more kingpin. All that shit done. So crack don't fade out, and people got a whole new lifestyle now versus back then. You feel me? So, hey, thank y'all for tuning in to the Triple A show. Y'all stick around for the next podcast. Peace.